easiest, best rule of thumb maybe for what is slavery comes from the 1930 Forced Labour Convention, which is all work or service extracted under menace of penalty, for which the person has not offered themselves voluntarily and for which they receive little or no pay. So it's not completely comprehensive, but it's a good general working definition of what slavery is. Today we see slavery in mostly the unregulated parts of the economy, the ones which were uninspected and unpoliced. There's a lot of forced labour and in domestic work, so there's a lot of domestic servitude. That's problematic, particularly problematic because people who work as domestic servants are generally working in private homes and frequently these aren't inspected, so all sorts of abuses can occur. We see a lot of slavery and forced labour across the world in agriculture. We see a lot of slavery and forced labour in brick kilns and formal parts of the Indian and South Asian economy. But we also see a lot of forced labour in some quite modern international supply chains. The garment supply sector is, garment supply chain is very rife with forced labour. The UK has just produced a new estimate of forced labour within the UK, and that is of 13,000 people in forced labour, which is considerably higher than previous estimates. And you would see those again in the unregulated parts of the economy, the uninspected parts of the economy, the bits that use significant informal labour, such as domestic work, construction, cleaning, catering, these sort of industries and businesses which don't need large permanent workforces. They're very open to abuse. Within the United Kingdom, there's a couple of desperately urgent requirements that the British government should introduce. First of all, they should scrap the existing overseas domestic worker visa, which is frankly a de facto legalisation of trafficking for forced domestic servitude. They should ensure that there is an independent anti-slavery commissioner established in the UK, so somebody reporting to Parliament with the power to gather evidence and the power to take that broad purview across all of government and provide some impetus to coherent and cogent measures for the government to engage with on the issue of slavery. And thirdly, it should put victim protection measures on a statutory footing within the current modern slavery bill that's going through Parliament. So it should be guaranteeing specific rights which potential victims of forced labour have within the UK. Currently, they're all policy measures, and whenever you survey how they've been applied very haphazardly. Some places well, some places not so well. And the overall consequence of that is that, frankly, you don't obtain sufficient witnesses for prosecutions because people who have been in situations of forced labour and trafficking don't develop the confidence in the system to go forward and aren't protected adequately by the system so that they would be willing to go forward. So those would be the three key things that the British government should do in a broader context of how you could struggle against slavery internationally.